Welcome to the shack. Today we have something to feature that was actually assembled in the USA. Yay! We're doing this for Veterans. I'm doing this on Veterans Day 2020, so I thought that was fitting. Welcome to the shack. Today we're going to show you another IBM product. And I know this is supposed to be Mike's Mac Shack, but you know, I'm taken with these things. What can I say? So, this is an IBM PS2 Model 50Z, as in Z. This is a variation of one of the very first PS2s that IBM made in 1987. This is actually a revision of the original Model 50, with the Z meaning zero weight states for the memory, which makes it about 20% faster than a regular Model 50. So, as you can see, we actually have a really good example here to show you, which is actually kind of unusual for these machines. These machines were these things were beat pretty hard most of the time. So, but I'll throw the specs on the screen below, but just to be quick, it's a 286, it's 10 megahertz, it comes standard with 1 megabyte of memory. You can put a maximum of 2 megabytes on the board, but the computer itself can actually address 16 megabytes. Why you would ever need that much memory on a 286, I have no idea. This particular model came with a 30 megabyte DBA hard drive, a 1.44 meg floppy drive with the option to add a second drive here, or a tape drive, or a expansion carrier for an external floppy drive. The possibilities for this are multiple actually. This one only has the one floppy drive, and it's working. So it's all to see on the front, and then we can flip around to the rear here, and we can see we have our standard complement of PS2 stuff. Here we take notice of the type, which is an 8550-031, which just means it's a PS2 Model 50 with a 30 meg hard drive and 1 megabyte of memory, and that's it. That's all this thing has. So, but we see the standard complement of PS2 keyboard, PS2 mouse, parallel, and serial, as well as onboard VGA video. So, IBM is the one that designed the VGA video. So, just like they also designed CGA. So, anybody using VGA video in 2020, you can thank IBM. It's all their fault. So, the VGA on this machine is 640 by 480 at 16 colors. The VGA standards today are nothing like they used to be. So, but they do use a similar type of interface, although it's mostly digital now. You know, you need analog to digital converters and everything else to make a regular VGA monitor work. So, but we also notice we have 3 expansion card slots, and I'll show you the slots in a minute. Of course, being a Model 50, this is a microchannel machine. And for anybody who is new to these, any model number with 50 or up is microchannel. Any model number with 50 or less than 50 is ISA. There were no PCI versions of PS2s. They were extinct by the time PCI became a standard. So both machines lines are great. The ISA machines are probably in a way better because they're easier to expand and work with nowadays versus the microchannel machines. The microchannel machines are a bit of a nightmare to work with. especially for people who don't understand them and don't know what they're doing. Not saying that people are idiots or anything. It's just it's a very steep learning curve sometimes. So we're going to reposition everything. We're going to crack this sucker open, and I'm going to show you exactly how easy it is to fix one of these and actually work on it. Okay, so now we're going to crack her open. We're going to take a look inside. We're not going to boot it up today, but we're just going to look at it. This is just a quickie look. So what we do is we take these two thumb screws off. Easy. And then we simply pull the case forward and lift it up. Simple. Alright, so we take a quick look inside here, and first thing we notice is this big black hunk here. This is the 30 meg DBA hard drive. This particular drive is, I believe, an MFM variant. These are actually some of the first, what would kind of be considered IDE drives, or integrated drive electronics. The drive controller is actually on the board here, this edge connector board. There is no hard drive interface in the computer. This here is just basically a microchannel adapter card. The slot here is actually a regular 16-bit microchannel slot. So there's actually a PS2 guy who actually did design an IDE card for this machine with 2 IDE channels on it. So, and it slots into slot 4 here. So that's just a riser card. So technically you could call these IDE, but they're not of the IDE standard. So we're just going to leave this out. But as you can see, there's no bolts to hold it in. It just puts in and slides. It's like a Mac at the time. So, and then next thing we'll take notice to is the floppy drive is the same way. You lift up on a little nub here and pull it out. There's your floppy drive. So now this particular one is the Mitsubishi model. Try to get a close up there with the edge connector. This seems to be the one that has the fewest issues. There were several different model drives made. So all I had to do was clean the heads on this and it worked fine. Surprisingly. And then there's a little catch here that holds the floppy riser in, but we don't need to take that out. So here we have a battery and the PC speaker, and right underneath here, and whether yours is actually present or not, I don't know, but these machines, these desktop machines, the 50s and 70s, come with this thing. I always call it a pin popper, and this is actually to pop the pins that hold the drive carrier in and the fan. And all you do is, that one's unlocked, you just go around, you just push this underneath the pins, push down, and then when you're done, you put it back because you don't need it after you take them all out. And then you disconnect this cable here. This is for the speaker and the battery. Of course, now that'll disconnect your real-time clock. So first thing we're going to do is pull the fan out. And that's all there is to it. It's just held in by an edge connect. You know, it has an edge connector here. Just a standard fan. And then what I always do, if I don't take this riser out, I just pull this whole section up by the riser card here. Oops, I missed a pin. I always miss the one underneath this battery. And there we go. Now we have unfettered access to the main board. So, first thing we'll take a look at is the heart of this machine. Sorry about that, I knocked my camera out there. So here we have the 28610 processor. And then we have a 287 math code socket right next to it, which on this machine is unpopulated. I'm going to probably change that eventually. And then right next to it we have 4 16-bit microchannel slots. This one here, you'll notice, is longer than the other 3. This one here has video extensions. This is for newer, better video cards. So basically what it does is it routes the onboard VGA through the microchannel slot and out the video card. So the 8514 and I think the XGA card take advantage of this, but just about any video card made for PS2 should, not all, but most should have the video extension. And then way back here we have one lonely SIM, and this is the only SIM slot on the computer. And it maxes out at 2 megabytes on board, but you can put 16 in with a microchannel card. So, and then we have back here, we have the 95 watt, I think it's 95 watt, 94 watt. Pretty sure it's an Aztec power supply. These are fairly reliable. This one here actually did blow a filter cap. It stank to high heaven, so I haven't powered the computer on recently. I need to crack this open and fix that. Not necessarily required for operation, but a good thing to have. So, as you see, in relation to the actual case, the planar, as we call it, is tiny. I mean, it's a ridiculously tiny thing. Considering that this thing is twice as powerful as the IBM AT and has twice the features built onto it, or actually has about 10 times the features built onto it. So, 72-pin memory. It's got built-on PS2 keyboard and mouse, parallel, serial, and video. Plus, it has 4 expansion slots. So, infinitely better than the IBM AT ever was. So, the only difference is the IBM AT is easier to find expansion cards for because it has the ISA bus, whereas this one's microchannel. So, but this one is faster. So, that's the that's the gist of it. It's not a very fancy machine. This was the bottom of the barrel. There were 3 models introduced initially. In 1987, there was the Model 50, there was the Model 60, and the Model 70. So, the Model 60 is basically the same exact machine in a full-size tower configuration. And the Model 70 is another desktop machine just like this. It's actually in an identical case, except it has a 386 in it. It's a 20 megahertz DX. Pretty powerful for 1987. So, and then of course, you know, there's I think about 50 different models of PS2. I'd have to go through and remember all of them. There's 2 different 25s, there's 2 different 30s, there's a 35, a 40, an L40, there's a 45, a 50, 50Z, 60, 65, 70, P70, P75, 80, there's an 8585, an 8590, an 8595, there's a 95, I mean there's, oh my gosh, once you start getting into the higher model numbers. And then there's a whole 95 series of PS2s. So, it starts getting complicated the later on you go. So, but there's a quickie look. Let me know if you like this. And I'm probably going to show this machine more. The hard drive is dead. It actually suffered a real head crash. I'm going to take that apart on a video and show everybody what a head crash looks like. So, it's dead, and I'm not really willing to buy another one because they're unreliable at best. So I may try to get a SCSI card for this machine. I'm not sure what I exactly want to do with it yet, but it's working. I can actually boot it off a floppy disk, and once I get the power supply fixed, I'll do that. So, as always, like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day.